When the noise of applause fades and the cameras slowly turn away, what remains is often a quieter, more meaningful story. At 73, Steven Seagal's life feels less like a straight climb to fame and more like a winding journey shaped by discipline, ambition, and personal evolution. To many, he will always be remembered as the calm, commanding action hero who moved with effortless precision. Yet behind the on-screen strength lived a man navigating changing seasons of success, creativity, and reflection. His path reveals how fame can rise quickly, shift unexpectedly, and eventually settle into something more introspective. From martial arts halls in Japan to Hollywood sound stages and international stages beyond film, Seagal's story is one of adaptation. It reminds us that success is rarely permanent and identity is never fixed. Instead, life unfolds in chapters, each offering lessons about resilience, purpose, and the quiet strength required to keep moving forward. Roots in resilience. Steven Seagal was born in 1952 and spent his early years moving between Michigan and California, growing up in an environment that encouraged curiosity and self-reliance. As a child, he faced physical challenges that might have discouraged many, but instead became the spark for his interest in discipline and movement. Martial arts offered him focus, structure, and a sense of control that extended beyond the physical. Even at a young age, Seagal showed uncommon dedication, spending long hours practicing techniques and studying philosophy. These formative experiences planted the seeds for a lifelong commitment to personal growth. Rather than chasing popularity, he leaned into mastery, discovering that progress often comes from patience rather than speed. His early years weren't glamorous, but they were foundational. They shaped his belief in perseverance and inner balance, values that would later define both his professional image and his private approach to life. Discovering Aikido as a teenager, Seagal encountered Aikido, a martial art centered on harmony, redirection, and control rather than brute force. The philosophy resonated deeply with him. Unlike styles focused purely on power, Aikido emphasized awareness, balance, and respect for opponents. This approach aligned with his growing sense that strength could be quiet and precise. He immersed himself in training, studying not only physical techniques, but also the deeper principles behind them. For Seagal, Aikido became more than a skill. It became a way of thinking. The practice taught him patience, humility, and responsibility, lessons that extended far beyond the dojo. While many young people chase quick recognition, he chose the slower path of mastery. That commitment would eventually open doors few Americans had entered at the time. His devotion to Aikido marked the beginning of a journey that would take him across cultures and redefine his future. A transformative journey to Japan. In the early 1970s, Seagal traveled to Japan, a bold step that would shape his identity in lasting ways. Living abroad demanded adaptability, respect, and perseverance, especially in a culture where tradition and discipline are deeply valued. He devoted himself fully to training, refining his technique while learning the language and customs around him. Over time, he earned recognition as a serious practitioner and became one of the first foreigners to operate an Aikido dojo in Japan. This achievement reflected years of dedication and cultural immersion. More importantly, it taught him how growth often happens far from comfort zones. Japan offered him clarity and perspective, reinforcing the idea that mastery requires patience and humility. These years strengthened both his physical abilities and his worldview. By the time he returned to the United States, Seagal carried not only advanced skills, but a deeper understanding of balance, respect, and purpose. Returning with purpose. Back in America, Seagal began teaching martial arts and working with private clients in Los Angeles. His calm confidence and precise movement attracted attention from people across the entertainment world. Teaching allowed him to share what he had learned while continuing to refine his own practice. During this period, he also worked as a bodyguard, gaining exposure to Hollywood's inner circles. It wasn't instant fame, but it was steady progress built on credibility. Those who trained with him noticed something different. His style felt authentic, grounded in real discipline rather than performance. This authenticity caught the eye of industry professionals who sensed potential beyond the dojo. Seagal hadn't set out to become an actor, but opportunity arrived naturally through relationships and reputation. His return to the United States marked a transition from quiet mastery to broader visibility, setting the stage for a career that would soon reach millions. A breakthrough on screen. Seagal's film debut came in 1988 with Above the Law, where he portrayed a former operative turned police officer. Audiences were drawn to his understated presence and realistic martial arts sequences. Unlike many action stars of the era, he didn't rely on exaggerated bravado. Instead, his performances felt controlled and deliberate, reflecting his real-world training. The film's success introduced him as a fresh kind of hero, calm, focused, and quietly powerful. Almost overnight, he became a recognizable face in action cinema. What made the breakthrough special wasn't just box office numbers, but how naturally he translated his discipline to the screen. Viewers sensed authenticity in his movements and restraint in his delivery. This debut opened doors to larger projects and established his place in Hollywood. For Seagal, it was the beginning of a new chapter, blending martial arts philosophy with cinematic storytelling, defining a new action style. The early 1990s saw Seagal rise quickly through films like Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, and Out for Justice. Each project reinforced his unique approach to action. While other stars emphasized size or spectacle, Seagal focused on technique and composure. His characters often appeared unshaken, resolving conflict with efficiency rather than excess. This distinct style resonated with audiences seeking something different. His peak arrived with Under Siege, a film that paired him with established actors and brought widespread acclaim. The success confirmed that his presence could anchor major productions. During this period, Seagal became known for blending martial arts realism with Hollywood pacing, offering a quieter form of heroism. His rise demonstrated that authenticity could compete with flash. For a time, he stood among the era's most recognizable action figures, carving out a space defined by discipline and restraint. Adjusting with time. Aging brings inevitable changes, even for those once defined by physical precision. As Seagal grew older, he adapted his performances and public appearances to match his evolving capabilities. Rather than viewing adjustment as limitation, he treated it as practicality. This stage of life emphasized wisdom over intensity, presence over pace. Chairs, careful choreography, and support teams became tools for continuity rather than symbols of decline. His approach reflected acceptance, a recognition that strength looks different over time. By continuing to participate in creative projects and public engagements, he modeled perseverance in a quieter form. Aging, after all, is not about losing identity, but reshaping it. Seagal's later years highlight how dignity comes from honoring one's limits while remaining engaged with life. It's a reminder that longevity is built on adaptation, patience, and respect for the body's changing rhythms. Early films that endure despite shifting trends, Seagal's early films remain meaningful to fans of martial arts cinema. Titles like Above the Law and Hard to Kill introduced audiences to a grounded form of action rooted in technique and discipline. These works continue to inspire viewers who appreciate realism over excess. For many practitioners, his performances served as an entry point into Aikido and related arts. The legacy of these films lies not only in entertainment value, but in how they sparked curiosity about movement, balance, and self-control. Long after release dates fade, stories that carry authenticity tend to endure. Seagal's early catalog stands as a testament to what happens when real skill meets storytelling. While newer generations may discover his work differently, the foundation he helped build within action cinema remains part of the genre's evolving history. Teaching through. Example beyond acting, Seagal's influence can be seen in students who found martial arts through his visibility. His journey encouraged many to explore discipline, mindfulness, and personal development. By presenting a hero defined by composure rather than chaos, he offered an alternative vision of strength. This quieter message resonated with audiences seeking balance in a fast-paced world. Teaching, whether formally or indirectly through film, became a lasting contribution. His example showed that mastery is cultivated through patience, repetition, and respect. Even viewers who never stepped into a dojo absorbed lessons about focus and restraint. In this way, his impact extended beyond screens. Seagal's career illustrates how public figures can shape interests and values, often without realizing the full reach of their influence. Sometimes the most lasting legacy lies in inspiration rather than accolades. Reinvention as survival, one of the strongest themes in Seagal's life, is reinvention. From martial artist to actor, from director to musician, from Hollywood figure to international presence, he continually reshaped his path. Each transition required courage and openness to uncertainty. Reinvention isn't always glamorous. It often involves starting again in unfamiliar territory. Yet Seagal embraced these shifts, choosing movement over stagnation. His story reflects a universal truth. Careers rarely follow straight lines. Instead, they twist through opportunity, challenge, and rediscovery. By staying active across different fields, he demonstrated that identity can evolve without losing its core. Reinvention became not just a strategy, but a mindset, one rooted in curiosity and resilience. In a world that changes rapidly, his willingness to adapt offers a lesson in survival through flexibility. Balancing myth and humanity, public figures often live between perception and reality. For Seagal, the image of the calm, unstoppable hero sometimes overshadowed the everyday human behind it. Over time, audiences began to see both sides, the disciplined practitioner and the reflective individual navigating life's changes. This balance between myth and humanity is something every visible figure must face. While fame amplifies strengths, it also simplifies complexity. Seagal's journey shows how challenging it can be to remain authentic under constant attention. Yet it also highlights the importance of grounding oneself in values rather than validation. By continuing to train, teach, and create, he maintained a connection to his roots. His experience reminds us that no public persona fully captures a person's inner world. True identity lives in quiet moments, long after headlines fade, finding meaning beyond applause. As the years passed, Seagal's focus gradually shifted from mainstream success to personal fulfillment. Teaching, cultural engagement, and creative expression became more central than box office numbers. This evolution reflects a natural progression many experience with age. Priorities soften, and meaning replaces momentum. Rather than chasing constant visibility, he invested in projects aligned with his interests. This stage of life emphasized contribution over competition. Fame had opened doors, but purpose came from connection and reflection. Seagal's later choices illustrate how fulfillment often emerges when ambition gives way to balance. His story encourages us to reconsider how we measure success. Is it in applause or in the ability to live according to one's values? For him, the answer seemed to evolve over time, guiding him toward a quieter, more grounded sense of achievement. Lessons in longevity. Longevity in any field requires patience, adaptability, and self-awareness. Seagal's decades-long career offers insights into how individuals navigate changing landscapes. He experienced rapid ascent, creative expansion, industry shifts, and personal reinvention. Each phase demanded different strengths. Early success required courage, while later years called for humility and flexibility. His path demonstrates that staying relevant doesn't always mean staying the same. Instead, it means honoring growth and accepting change. Whether through film, music, or teaching, he remained engaged with life's possibilities. These lessons extend beyond entertainment, speaking to anyone facing transitions. Seagal's journey reminds us that endurance is built not on resisting change, but on moving with it. Life rewards those who evolve, even when the future feels uncertain. A life still in motion. At 73, Seagal's life represents a mosaic of experiences: martial arts mastery, cinematic success, creative exploration, and international engagement. Each chapter adds texture to a story that refuses to be simplified. While his peak Hollywood years are part of history, his ongoing journey reflects reflection and purpose. He remains connected to teaching, culture, and creativity, showing that life doesn't end when fame quiets. Instead, it transforms. His story offers reassurance that relevance can be redefined at any age. By staying active in ways that align with his values, he continues moving forward. This stage of life highlights continuity rather than conclusion. Seagal's journey reminds us that growth doesn't stop with recognition, it deepens with experience. Reflections on identity is not fixed. It evolves with every choice and season. Seagal's life illustrates this beautifully. He began as a student, became a teacher, rose as an actor, explored music, and embraced international roles. Each version built upon the last. Rather than abandoning earlier selves, he carried them forward. This layered identity reflects a willingness to learn continuously. Fame may have introduced him to the world, but curiosity kept him engaged. His path shows how embracing multiple interests can enrich life. Instead of narrowing with age, he expanded. These reflections invite us to reconsider our own definitions of self. We are not limited to one role or era. Like Seagal, we can grow by honoring past experiences while remaining open to new directions. Beyond the spotlight. When the bright lights dim, what remains is character. Seagal's journey underscores that fame is temporary, but personal values endure. Through success, transition, and reinvention, he maintained a connection to discipline and learning. His life invites reflection on what truly matters once applause fades. Is it recognition or relationships? Achievement or inner balance? For Seagal, the answer appears to lie in continued engagement with purpose. His story reminds us that behind every public figure is a human navigating time, change, and meaning. While audiences may remember the action hero, the deeper narrative speaks of perseverance and adaptability. In the end, his legacy is not just cinematic, it's a testament to evolving with grace. Long after the spotlight softens, the journey continues, shaped by resilience, curiosity, and the quiet strength to keep moving forward.